Rode with confidence.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are set to host the Charlotte Knights in VyStar Ballpark tonight. The first pitch coming to you live at 7:05. We're officially just 1 week away from the NFL Draft in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Round 1 kicks off Thursday. The Jaguars will join the action on Friday for their second round pick. It's 84 degrees at 6 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Shattered dreams and a broken heart, all mending right now on the shelf. And now we're not talking about love affairs. We're talking about devastation, celebration, anticipation, and victory. Victory, 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 victory. That's what it's all about. And that includes the Jags 1 week from tonight. Yeah, I know they don't have a draft pick, but are they going to move up? Are they going to do something? Could ask Jordan Schultz in 15 minutes when he joins us, what is the perception a year later with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Depending on who you talked to a year ago, this thing was built bass backwards, right? There's really no other way to say it. I mean, where else have we seen the transition happen the way that it did with the coach and then with the vice president, and then about a month later, a general manager, and what's going on at the NFL scouting combine, and what's going on over the Senior Bowl prior to it worked. I mean, they talked about collaboration. I always wondered, because when you put three people out there, I don't care what the situation is, you're not going to agree. You may agree if you're intimidated. You may agree if the person you're dealing with maybe you want something from them. You may agree if that individual is your boss. But for the most part, when you get three people and you're talking about anything, there's going to be a disagreement. This organization has proven just about everyone wrong. And, there's a lot of people I text with. Jordan Schultz is one of them. He's outstanding. He always gets back to me. I have him on periodically, but, he's a very busy guy as an NFL insider. So the Jags do not select a week from tonight. Instead, it will be Friday. I've been saying all along, I'm going defensive tackle. That is where I am going at number 56. And then with the three positions in the third round, in any particular order, give me an edge, give me an off-the-ball linebacker, and I want to go back to the well. You can never have too many offensive linemen. Brett Veach today did say he expects a lot of activity in the first round. Of course, he is the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, and you can't go really anywhere now. I mean, this stuff is written on men's and women's bathrooms as far as the walls, right? And that's Dexter Lawrence talk. It is all over the place. What's going to happen? What's the asking price going to be? Is Jacksonville involved? I don't believe so, because I don't think they're going to move a player. I don't believe they're going to move Brian Thomas Jr. I've said that since day one. I saw one report that was Eric Armstead. Okay. But is New York going to say yes to that? And when you look at Joe Schoen and everything that's happening as far as where he is at, remember, he was a package deal for the most part. It both came over from Buffalo with Brian Daboll. I'm trying to remember if it was the same year or if perhaps the GM got there one season before Daboll. But Daboll's out. And, he's next. He doesn't want to stockpile future picks. That's not going to help him this year. So it's fascinating to me, as far as I'm concerned, with everything that is going on right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, it's great to have you with us right here on this Thursday edition. We do have plenty planned, and that is going to include Jordan Schultz coming up here momentarily. Also, Rafael Esparza is going to join us next hour as we find ourselves on the cusp of really the NHL and the NBA. You know, that seeding situation in the NHL, I guess there could still be a tiny bit of movement tonight. And I was looking at it earlier. I want to say there are 6 games scheduled. The teams are in, but there are 6 games on ice tonight. Of course, we've had the play-in games in the NBA. And everything begins this weekend in both the league and the association. For those who are fans of either hoops or the puck, you're going to love this for the next 2 months. To me, it is a grind. It is a situation which you can really say about anything that is playoff ready. That is the ability to stay healthy. But we have seen year after year after year after year. Pick the sport. There's always a player. There's always a play that is totally unexpected, and it ends up being a huge difference maker. I mean, look at Coughlin's first Super Bowl. David Tyree in that grab that he made with Rodney Harrison all over him. Do you realize that David Tyree never caught another football in his NFL career? That was his last reception. For New York Giants fans, it's as big as Scott Norwood missing a field goal. It's as big as, winning another Super Bowl with Parcells and Belichick, and Coughlin was actually on that staff at that particular time with the New York Giants before he went to BC, and then, of course, slid on over here to Duval. So that's something else that you can certainly take a look at when we get into the playoffs. Okay, you know what is unfortunate, and there just seems like there's been so much conversation about the media, and most of it is negative. I don't have a problem with criticism in the media. Myself, I get criticized. I mean, there's corrective criticism, and then there's just flat out, being verbally assaulted criticism. Either one is fine. I'm good with it. The only thing that gets me would be if you say, that's it, I'm not listening anymore. I could care less if you criticize. But I have a problem with planted reports. And we're getting a lot of that now. Well, you get the feeling, really the Reuben Bain Jr. one is the major altercation that happened a couple of years ago, but it's been rehashed. It's been retold. And to me, that is agenda driven. And, I'm not saying that there's someone out there who has an axe to grind with Reuben Bain Jr. No, it's typically something that is reinforced because there's a team who really wants this guy. And maybe they're slotted 3, 4, 5, 6 spots below where they actually project that he could land. So someone from that team is going to get to a reporter and bring up what happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Bain Jr. a couple of years ago was involved in an accident where a young lady lost her life. I believe it was his girlfriend, lost her life. And I honestly don't remember the story. I'm not going to lie to you about it. But every 32, all of these 32 teams, they do their homework, okay? They're well aware of this story. It didn't need to become public again for everyone to see. And I waited basically about a week to get into it for several reasons. Number one, we've been so busy around here. But number two, it's a tragedy, man. It's very unfortunate that this actually did happen. But in my opinion, it's a planted story. So it could be a team. It could be an agent, right? And it could be a bird dog that is somehow involved, and, let's try to find a way to create more attention on another edge guy by putting out negative information about Bain Jr. Therefore, it really grabs the attention of these 32 teams, but it doesn't. That's what's baffling. It doesn't. It grabs the attention of the media. It grabs the attention of the NFL fans. Again, all 32 general managers, all 32 head of college football scouting, pro personnel directors, everyone else involved in that front office is fully aware of what happened here. And I would think quite a few of them asked him about it during their sit down back at the NFL Combine. I mean, you can't avoid something like that. And I'm sure they just wanted his side of the story, an explanation. But we see stuff like that. Another thing that we see that is cowardly is an apology. I've apologized once in 35 years, and that's because the entire state of Mississippi was ready to come after me. And I will say this, that not one of you had a problem with it, because I checked the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures every night. I'm on YouTube each and every night. Not one person from the state of Florida had a problem. It went viral. And by the time the Mississippi people got it, then that was that. So, okay, we all make mistakes. We all apologize. But Kevin Kisner now, after actually making a incredible statement, a correct statement about how Bush League the Masters coverage was, which is typically impeccable. Okay, we're not talking about, a Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, propaganda-filled 3rd and 8 for Florida State, put Texas in the playoff. Florida State is punting again, put Alabama and Texas. I mean, we're not talking about filth. We're not talking about disgust. We're not talking about flat out, deep into the sewer like they did. We're talking about Jim Nantz. We're talking about the very best in the business at the Masters. And again, they were late. They were late with shots, and also the report is now out. It's been out for a little bit that they canned 5 very important people for peddling their Masters tickets, their badges, to get some side cash, and they took them off coverage. Well, you know what? I'm not saying it's fireable. It's not fireable. I'm not saying that someone would have been suspended or not suspended, whatever it should have been. But you should have been smart enough as a company for the penalty and the punishment to occur after the Masters. I mean, think about it. And that's why it was so bad. And Kisner went crazy. But then he walked it back. No need to walk it back. You were right. Just because you were critical doesn't mean you always have to delete. And that's exactly what Kevin Kisner has done here. Hey, no matter where you are or what you do, if you want the best, you hire the best. You keep the best, even through transgressions. And that applies to the officiating. I know it's not a perfect analogy, but it's one that makes sense to me. You saw what happened at the Masters coverage when they said goodbye to 5 key parts of that broadcast. Can you imagine what it's going to be like if they cannot get a deal done with the NFL officials? They're still the best at what they do. Even though you have a problem with it and I have a problem with it, they're still the best at what they do. If you bring in lesser talented, experienced officials, you're going to have glaring mistakes that are made as well. That's just fact. And I think that applies to anything that we deal with, in our lifetime. Just my opinion on it. All right, Jordan Schultz coming up here in just a couple of minutes. NFL Insider, also host of the Schultz Report. Not Dave Schultz. Not the Hammer. Not the big bad Bruins against the Broad Street Bullies. Let's put Schultz against O'Reilly. Let's bring out John Wensink against the late Mel Bridgman. Let's bring out Paul Holmgren to take on, let's go with Al Secord. Let's bring out Mike Milbury to square up with Ben Wilson. I mean, that J. Bob Kelly. Let's have him take on, did I say Stan Jonathan yet? I mean, that's great hockey. It was. And I don't watch hockey for the fights. But that was legendary stuff back in the day. This is Jordan Schultz. His dad is the owner of Starbucks. And always really good. I enjoy, mostly texts with Jordan Schultz. So he's going to come up on the other side. All right. As always, the program is brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. Here it is, middle of April. Pollen's nuts, right? I noticed that last week. Not for me, but the GF was out there. Pollen was really... as I watched her do it, the pollen was bad. Kidding. I was out there as well. But the pollen was just awful. And, if your eyes are red, they're irritable, and you don't know what's going on, you want to scratch them, you want to itch them, don't do that. Make yourself an appointment at Shmunez Vision. It may be as simple as an allergy. It could be far more complex. If so, your best bet is to what? Get ahead of it, right? Get there early, okay? A lot of false information being thrown around about cataract. You may not need cataract surgery. There may be another remedy for you. If so, 37 years worth of experience when it does come to surgery with Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, and Dr. John Hunt. Check them out online, Shmunez Vision. Also go to Instagram with the very latest at Shmunez Vision. All right, looking forward to this show tonight. It's going to be a blast. It really is. We got a lot of good stuff cranked up for the next couple of hours. Let's kick it off with Jordan Schultz. He joins us next on Into the Night.
4 balls, 3 strikes, 2 teams, 1 winner. 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Indoor golf in Ponte Vedra is here. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Play the best courses in the world at Back 9 Golf. Top simulators, analytics to improve your game, or just have a blast with friends or a client. Get this, you can bring your own beverages, including cocktails. Go to back9golf.com, book a tee time today. Membership opportunities, lessons, Back 9 Golf in Ponte Vedra, next to Nice High School. Back 9 Golf, where golf never sleeps.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Only at Firehouse Subs.
If you or someone you know are having a special day soon, perhaps the birth of a baby or a big birthday for a senior citizen, Kuhn Flowers will send the perfect arrangement. JJ LaSilva here with 1010XL, and I've personally experienced the magic of a Kuhn Flowers delivery. Log on or call KuhnFlowers.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process. and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jax. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience? No problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Get ready for an unforgettable night with the legendary Bill Murray. The icon of Caddyshack and SNL takes the stage at the Florida Theater. This isn't just comedy. It's a high-energy mix of music, storytelling, and pure entertainment. From the Grand Ole Opry to rocking out with the Blood Brothers, Bill Murray delivers a show like no other. Don't miss out. April 19th at Florida Theater. Grab your tickets today for Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers at floridatheater.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
So much going on in the world of sports, and I tell you what, that certainly does include the NFL Tonight Show, brought to you by the good folks over at the Alexander Law Practice. I'll tell you about them in just a couple of minutes, but right now let's bring in NFL Insider. He is Jordan Schultz. He is also the host of the Schultz Report, and he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Jordan, how you doing?
Rick, my pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure to come on, and yeah, man, this is about that time of the year when things get pretty fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. 1 week from tonight is the NFL draft. Obviously, the Jags don't have a pick. We'll get there in a moment. But let's start with Dexter Lawrence. Do you believe he gets moved next Thursday night?
You know, the Dexter Lawrence stuff is really interesting for a lot of reasons. Number one, he's a great player at a pretty premium position. And there's a lot of interest for him. A lot. The problem is that the Giants are going to be asking and have been asking for a boatload back. And not all, but you're going to have to pay Dexter Lawrence, who's going to want a new contract. And anytime you loop those two together, Rick, things can get hard in terms of a deal. I wouldn't say he's definitively getting moved anytime soon, that anything's imminent. But I do think at this point, given where both sides are and the level of dissatisfaction from Dexter, that I would expect a move to happen at some point. I just don't think it's imminent.
You know, we asked James Gladstone about this a week ago Tuesday, and he said no talks, not as though he would get into someone who's contractually under another organization, but, you know, still trying to learn his poker face and his gamemanship when it comes to what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. But, you know, I walked out of there with the feeling that really the Jags are not going to be involved here.
I don't think the Jags would be involved in that as well. Here's what it is. Really, it has not been in a good place between Dexter and the Giants for quite some time. I would say money is a big part of it. Another element is that Dexter has seen many other players leave the organization over the years. He's stayed quiet. He's been a good soldier. He's tried to be a team guy. So when it became clear last year that he had outplayed his contract in 24, it was time for a new deal. The organization basically said no. He felt, I think, like it was a slap in the face, and that has continued this offseason. And I had one source who I really trust say, this is a text, Dexter, he says he understands what those players who were shown the door by the Giants felt. Mm-hmm. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, no question about it. You know, Brett Veach talked about it a little bit earlier today, the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, where he expects a lot of trades in the first round. Is that what you're looking at? Trades and maybe a big surprise or two coming up a week from Thursday.
I think this is almost counterintuitively. This is one of the more interesting drafts I can remember because for a lot of reasons. One, I think the general consensus, Rick, is that there's probably 12 to maybe 15 at most bona fide first rounders. But there's obviously 32 picks. And so within that, you also have certain positions, running back, quarterback, that are not deep at all. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what teams move up to try to get inside the top 10 or so. You mentioned the Chiefs, they're at 9. Cleveland's at 6. Arizona's 3. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could move back. I don't know if the Chiefs would be one of them, but I would expect, and I've said this over the last couple of weeks, that there will be a flurry of action inside the top 10. I do expect that.
Talking with NFL insider Jordan Schultz joins us here on the home of the Jaguars with Rick Ballou. Jacksonville does not select until number 56. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved up into the mid-40s. You just mentioned some positions. I mean, defensive tackle as well. It seems like it's a pretty, average class against the run, but boy, is it really lacking if you're looking for internal pressure from defensive tackles. What are your thoughts on the Jags addressing that?
Yeah, the defensive tackle market is, in terms of the draft, there's probably 3 or 4 that if you're the Jags, you'd probably look at. I think Caleb Banks, former Gator, has a foot thing, but he's very talented. And he was he flashed a lot in 2024. Christian Miller, who is obviously, he's friends with Trayvon Walker. Heard a lot of really good things about him. Powerful interior presence, violent hands. And I'm not a guru with the draft by any stretch, but heard a lot about he holds up well against double teams. I think the guy that would be, and I'm not saying he's going to go this far. I don't think he will slip to 56. But one guy that's interesting to me for a lot of teams picking in the second round or even late first is Peter Woods from Clemson. That program has sort of been in turmoil the last few years. He's got a lot of ability, and I just think that someone, if he slips, which is possible, that someone's going to try to come up and get him because he's just got too much talent and too much ability at a premium position to pass up. That would be is there a defensive tackle that could really move the needle? It'd probably be someone like Peter Woods, who I think has top 10, top 20 talent.
Yeah. What do you think of the youngster out of Oklahoma, Grayson Halton? I know he's a little bit undersized, but, motor's always running. Is that a possibility in your opinion?
Talking about Grayson Halton, look at my notes here.
Defensive tackle out of Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, here's what I have on him. A little undersized from a height standpoint, but great physicality. He's a little under 300 pounds. Very good, not great athlete. Trying to see. I don't have any quotes on him from teams, but in my notes I do have versatile player, multiple defensive spots.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about him to really say much, but I can tell you that when it comes to Oklahoma, the pipeline for that position is pretty freaking great, and a lot of teams look at that for better or worse. So. But sorry, I don't have more on him.
Yeah, that's fine. Quite fine. Is no question about it. Hey, as we wrap things up, remember a year ago, we were talking about the new regime here. I mean, everything was a first, as you know. Baselli, Cohen, Gladstone, offense, defensive coordinator. And they had success. From everyone that you talk with around the league, what's the perception of the Jaguars 1 year later?
You know what? I'm so glad you asked that because I've gone through in the last, basically since the combine and free agency, who are the teams trending really upward and who are the teams trending downward. Jacksonville, you could argue, is as hot a team and organization as there is in football. I think the addition, to give Tony Baselli, who's an icon, a real voice, is a really smart move. But when James Gladstone was hired, I don't think he was on the bingo card, so to speak, for most people. And he comes from the Rams. He comes from that less seed disciple tree. And his ability as a scout, I think, is really strong. I also think he just gets it. What I mean by that is, in the modern day and age, when it comes to not only evaluating, but building the type of team, you have to take risks. And I know Travis Hunter was injured for the back half of the season, but that's the type of move that you only make, especially as a first-year GM at his age, the youngest GM in football. You only make if you have stones and you have conviction, and that's the type of GM, all due respect to previous regimes, including Trent Baalke, that's just the type of GM Jacksonville has not had.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Jags fan, I feel great about him. And then Liam Cohen, coming over from Tampa Bay, the impact he had on Baker Mayfield, enormous. And then you think about the back half of last season with Trevor Lawrence, I just can't think of a more improved player. And the synergy within the organization, all the way from the top down, has never been better. And I think the perception is this is a great spot to go in free agency. This is an organization with great young talent. And if I'm a Jags fan, I just couldn't be happier.
Jordan Schultz, ladies and gentlemen, NFL insider, also host of the Schultz Report. Always a lot of fun, Jordan. And, hey, I appreciate you always getting back to me on the texts. I wish everyone out there was like that.
Well, I actually felt badly because I realized I did miss you. We took the kids to Orlando, the theme park extravaganza, and I saw you at text and I missed you. So my apologies on that. But no, it's always a pleasure, and I really appreciate coming on.
All right, Jordan. Hey, enjoy everything, including the draft next week. Thank you so much.
You too, buddy.
The Schultz Report is a lot of fun. I don't know if you ever checked that out, but that's good stuff. And, of course, as an NFL insider, he is very well connected across the NFL. And, boy, tell you what, quite an endorsement there on what he believes about this football organization, where I'm always at when it comes to really anything in sports. But in this case, let's make it solely on the Jaguars. It's about the starting point. I mean, look at where this team was a year ago. There was such a great unknown. You just had no clue, right? Nothing. And here you are a year later, after a 13-4, and again, depth charts, 12 on offense, 12 on defense. That's 24 players. You lost 4 out of your 24. And they've all been replaced. They'll be replaced again with these 11 draft picks. And you're also looking at a situation where there are some incumbents who could be knocked out by youngsters who were drafted a year ago and other guys who are, trying to become a part of this thing. So, hey, that's some pretty good stuff. And I agree with Jordan Schultz. If I'm a Jags fan right now, absolutely am I excited about what the future is going to bring. The future includes Monday, which is their phase getting underway, April 20th. We're going to have the opportunity to hear from Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and Josh Hines Allen.
They give their best physically and mentally.
Listen for the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234
Wednesday afternoons on The Frangie Show.
on 1010XL.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Yo, E.T. here. And you know that on the field, preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at EncoreDocs.com.
Springtime is the perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. Make an appointment to tour their showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off free installation and 18 months special financing. Schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
Has any Major League Baseball player ever hit 2 grand slams in the same inning?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Fernando Tatis of the Cardinals hit 2 grand slams in the same inning in 1999. Both came off the same pitcher, Chan Ho Park of the Dodgers.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Owning a house is kind of like being in an argument with your house. One day, it's the AC saying, I'm tired. The next day, it's the plumbing going, good luck finding that leak. Then the septic system joins the conversation. And nobody likes what it has to say. That's when you call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. One team that handles all three, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. So the next time your house tries to win the argument, call Duck Duck Rooter. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I appreciate that from Jordan Schultz. Good stuff there. Then 1 week from tonight, the NFL draft. Can Jacksonville get it right at defensive tackle? I mean, I am totally convinced that is where they have to go with their top pick. Anything else, to me, would be a mistake unless they believe they can find an edge that is going to be so productive and that the plan is to play Trayvon Walker more inside. Now, his recent contract would say that's not the case. And I get it. Dexter Lawrence is going to want $30 million a year, but for the most part, there's not a lot of interior defensive linemen who make that wage. We saw the success that Walker had when he went inside late against Tennessee in Week 18, Game 17. Of course, what he did lining up next to Josh Hines-Allen against Buffalo, particularly on third down. Really successful. But I think they got to go DT. Caden McDonald's the number one guy. You're not going to get him. Peter Woods, Schultz mentioned. Oof, I just think he's gone. Caleb Banks, all that risk about the foot. Got to imagine that Jacksonville slid back on over to Hogtown or sent him here to examine that foot once again. I'm under the impression that if they met with him and did a medical on him at Indy during the combine, he popped it after. So you'd have to recheck there. Christian Miller out of Georgia. I really like the Grayson Halton kid. And I know he's a tad bit undersized, but it seems like he's got a little bit of a push. And I loved what I asked. I love the way that James Gladstone answered the question that I asked him a week ago Tuesday. About basically, he put it all on himself and the staff. You didn't know what I'm talking about. I asked Gladstone, this draft is considered very good against the run, or, that's their forte, but very weak as far as getting to the quarterback. And his answer was basically, I got to find the right guy, and the staff has to coach him up. So if we find the guy, coach him up, by the time he gets out of here or that rookie contract is up, he's going to be very productive. I thought it was, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, it was an incredible answer. basically said, that's my job to find the guy. And that's the staff's job to find a way to get him to the quarterback. R.J. Saunders producing the program.
What's going on, Rick?
You like in these play-in games? Have been pretty tight.
Yeah, no, 3 out of the 4 I thought were really good. I mean, Orlando's and Phillies. It got close there for a second, but Tyrese Maxey had proven to be too much for the Orlando Magic. But I think the Charlotte game versus the Miami Heat was a great one. I also really enjoyed the Golden State Warriors versus the LA Clippers. Then you also see the Portland Trailblazers, who many probably thought that this would be a down year for them as they await the return of Damian Lillard for next season. They defeat the Phoenix Suns in a close game, and so they'll be facing, I believe, the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. So we got one more, I believe, on the docket for Friday. A couple of good games here where we'll have the Golden State Warriors going up against the Phoenix Suns and have the right for the 8th seed, and the same thing out east where the Orlando Magic have one more shot at it against the very exciting and seems to be NBA loving Charlotte Hornets team, and whoever wins that contest will face Detroit in the first round.
Besides the king, LeBron James, is Steph Curry the oldest player in the NBA?
One of, I would like to believe Kevin Durant, LeBron James.
That's right. I forgot about Durant.
Right.
I don't know how I forgot about Durant. He's like, what, 6th or 7th all-time scoring now.
Yeah,
It's
no,
ridiculous
top
what
5.
he is.
Top
Yeah.
5, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we see that continued movement. That does have. What? Oh, my goodness. We have breaking news. This has just slid across my desk, and it's big. For starters, we found out where the Diana Rossini, Britt McHenry parking lot fight occurred. It was in, or I should say, it was outside of a Chili's. Okay? If you're joining us for the first time, you're not aware of this story, Britt McHenry, who is infamous for going to the "Do You Know Who I Am" card to a tow truck company and the receptionist at the company. She totally dressed her down and said she was going to sue the tow truck company, and she was on the air. Anyway, but, the story goes that when they were both covering that team in Washington, D.C., they got into a drunken cat fight in a Chili's parking lot because they were both having an affair with Sean McVay, who at the time was an assistant coach in D.C., and neither one of the two ladies knew about it until that moment. All right. That's just rehashing old news. We got new news now. I've never heard of Chrissy Freud. Okay, that is her name. Scalding text from her today. She, I guess, retweets with a quote on X the Diana Rossini letter of resignation. She goes on to say, "I'm sure you were told to submit this or you would have been fired. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We know who you really are and what you've been up to for years. It does so much detriment to women in sports who have done things the right way." Scalding. And you know what? I've said that since the beginning. That's the real negative part of all of this, is for hardworking women in this business. It feels like we moved on from the stereotype, right? I mean, we've grown up in some aspects. In our country, we talked about yesterday, the 79-year anniversary for Jackie Robinson, right? I mean, we've grown up. I'm not saying that's the case socially in every aspect of life, but I'm talking about on the baseball diamond here. I'm talking about in sports. You can make the case too. I mean, whether it's sexual orientation or gender, we've grown. Okay, they're not, they're not off the record conversations anymore. Okay? And I think there's a lot to be proud of when it comes to that. What Diana Rossini did is she set this back. She set it back decades. And let me give you some more. She goes on to say, and I quote, I want to first of all say that I am thankful that an outlet does have the audacity to do a story on Diana Rossini being called out. She deserves to have been, and all of us do know what she's been up to. From fights with other reporters in Chili's parking lots to hooking up with married NFL coaches to everything else, it's almost certainly all true. It's a worst-kept secret in the NFL reporting world for a while. Just brutal. Brutal. She goes on to say, someone once propositioned me to have Diana potentially be my mentor. I declined because I knew that she was about and her track record. Now, this is where it gets really kind of interesting. Without being asked, this young lady, who I do not know, I don't know anything about Chrissy Freud. You ever heard the name before? As an NFL reporter?
Not at all.
She goes on to say this, and this is what's really kind of, I don't know. I mean, she's trying to make a name for herself. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about her here. I never would have thought of going down this road before. But she goes on to say, for comparison, as I get a spam call, for comparison, she was in a relationship with former USC quarterback JT Daniels, but not until after he retired from football. And I quote, I had a strong relationship with former quarterback JT Daniels. That, as anyone would imagine under those circumstances, did include multiple sexual encounters, and there was a lot involved. However, JT and I began that relationship until after he was out of football. I can honestly say that I have never slept with a player or coach for professional gain. Diana Rossini cannot say the same. That's where the difference is. Well, there you go. That is the breaking news. It is a gift that just keeps on giving. There'll be more. There'll be more. There'll be more. There'll be more. And there's two things. There's two things. Number one, she's going to get paid. She's never going to be an NFL insider again, but she's going to get it. She's going to get a gig somewhere, right? She's going to get hired and she's going to make a ton of money. And she'll probably be pretty good as a podcaster or, you know, a host or whatever it may be. She's just not going to be able to break news. Number two, and it's the worst part of it, I really feel bad, especially for those getting out of college, especially for those starting their career, that they have to deal with this nonsense now. In my opinion, this has set back them, women, a great deal. And it's because of one person who is selfish. Now, who said it today? Michelle Beadle said it. Remember her? She used to have the MBA and all that stuff. And she came out and said that someday she's going to write a book. And that she's fully aware of many, many, many others who have done the same thing. So we'll patiently have to sit back and wait for that to get us in writing. All right. Just want to give you an update. We will get back to some sports on the other side and, certainly want to get into more on the Jags. I talk about these defensive tackles. I still haven't asked you, in all of these days that we've gone through it, who you want at defensive tackle. It seems like when I ask who you want at 56, I get corners, I get safeties, I get running backs, I get offensive linemen, I get edges, I get off-the-ball linebackers. No. You need a defensive tackle with your first pick. Let me know who you like. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube, you can join us at 1010XL into the night.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
They got on their horses. They rode all over the town, shooting their pistolas up in the air.
They are the drill.
And they called us scum-sucking pigs.
Mornings.
Us!
On 1010XL.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial pound law or check out forthepeople.com.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. Termites, chinch bugs, roaches. It's their time of year to shine. Preventative maintenance is a heck of a lot cheaper than treating an active infestation. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule your free estimate.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. Honda going off-road. They've got it all. Two-wheel, four-wheel. What's happening, my man?
Man, they've got the Talon. They got the Talon R. They've got the Talon Live Valve. If you're looking to do some farm work, they've got the Pioneer 700, Pioneer 1000. Legendary Honda reliability. Super fun. Dirt bikes, of course, always amazing. More podium finishes than any other company. Can't go wrong there.
And families love it when they go off-road with Honda. Check them out. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. CyclesofJacksonville.com.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
I just got another NBA offer from Hard Rock Bet.
A Hard Rock Bet promo at the Hard Rock Bet Party? That is so meta.
That's not meta. That's Meta World Peace. Meta. Tell them about Hard Rock Bet.
Hard Rock Bet has it all. Live odds for every NBA game, every player prop, same game parlays, you name it. It's the only place I play these days.
Okay, now that is meta.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is teaming up with the NFL to inspire change. From now to draft day, Big Brothers Big Sisters is following the NFL draft, aiming to recruit potential bigs. Hi, I'm Brent from the 1010 sales team. I'm committed as a mentor, and we need you to step up and become a mentor too. There's a waiting list of more than 50 children hoping for a mentor. It's just a few hours a month. Be a mentor. Become a big. Visit bbsnefl.org. Be a mentor or visit Big Brothers Big Sisters and click on Big Draft.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's okefarm.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I just got this off of awful announcing from the USA Today, so I'm under the assumption that this is a true story, but nowadays you never know. I mean, with AI and hacking and what have you, you just don't know. But this just posted. The lady that I just talked about, NFL reporter Chrissy Freud and her scathing comments on Diana Rossini just cost her job. Okay? Let me see here. I mean, this is unbelievable.
I mean, talk about when you said there'll be more news to come.
Man, on Thursday, USA Today Sports released a statement saying that it ended its contractor relationship with Freud effective immediately. All right, so, listen, when I worked for the Sporting News Radio, we had 32 team reports, and everyone from every city once a week would give a report on the team. It wasn't their full-time job. They actually did other things as well. So maybe that is the case here for Chrissy Freud. But I just saw those comments a couple of hours ago, and I read them to you 5 minutes ago. And now it's in that those comments cost her job. So, here's another part of it. Okay? I'm disappointed that I think it's set back women in this business. Now, those same women can't even speak on it because their job is in question, at least in some circles, with some entities. This is bad. This really is. Could she have toned it down a little bit? Maybe. You see where I go with this? I mean, I don't know why Kevin Kisner apologized for telling the truth. Okay? I thought Kisner and his comments were spot on to CBS in their coverage over the weekend. And now what she said, Chrissy Freud, is an example, I have to believe, of what so many women want to say. And she did. And apparently it just cost her job. So, boy, I hate that. I don't know anything about her. She'll get another opportunity. There'll be someone out there that'll say, hey, listen, let's give her a second shot. Yeah, I don't know how good she is. I don't know anything about her. But I got to believe that that is going to happen. I don't think there's any question about it. All right, tonight's show is brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. If you have been injured in a car accident, that's awful. And boy, do you have to be a defensive driver nowadays. It's just nuts out there. Am I wrong? I mean, especially the left lane. Doesn't matter where you're driving, man. I don't know when it became custom. I don't know when it became normal to pull into the left lane and just go like 15 miles per hour slower than the speed limit and what the center lane is doing. Or the, far to the right lane is doing. Anyway, that is that. If you've been injured, okay, typically it's not your fault. It's because of careless driving on the other side. You're the victim here. You need to contact Rick Alexander at the Alexander Law Practice. First of all, you're going to be dealing directly with Rick. Every one of his clients, you have that relationship with him. I say this all the time because it's true. There's tremendous law firms all over, statewide, nationally speaking, but you're not going to go and be with the individual on the name of the law firm in most cases. That's different here. Rick Alexander's you. He's Duval. Okay? If you've been injured, contact him today. Go to Alexander Law Practice. Remember, you never come out of pocket. No consultation fee, no retainer fee. You're never out of pocket. If you've been injured, car's totaled, you need some help, contact the Alexander Law Practice.
Your home for Florida Gators baseball is 1010XL.
The weekend starts early with a top 20 matchup in the Swamp. Florida-Auburn. Tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday at noon on 1010 a.m.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and the cooler weather is upon us. Folks, it's the perfect time to try the new breakfast sandwich from Dandy Foods. A hearty one, too. A twin-pack cinnamon swirl and country sausage. You get the sweet first, then the salty kicks in, and trust me, they are addicting. And you'll find them all at daily stores around town. So the next time you're out and about, stop and get all that deliciousness in less than a minute from Dandy. Just one more reason to go out and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
Homeowners, ready to open your home to spring and shut out high energy bills? It's the 1 month only sale with Renewal by Anderson. Right now, buy one, get one 40% off windows and doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. But this offer expires April 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
At G&H Tires and Service, the G stands for great pricing. The H, well, that means honest service. For over 20 years, Roger and his team have helped Jacksonville drivers stay safe on the road. Need brakes? Oil change? AC not blowing cold? Well, how about a super affordable $36 oil change? Affordable brake jobs, AC checks before summer hits, alignments for all these construction roads, and even free check engine light inspections. Locally owned, community driven. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard.
The Purple Heart isn't just a name, it represents service, discipline, and earning trust. At Purple Heart Pools, that standard shows up most in pool renovations. If your pool is outdated or worn down, now's the time to upgrade. So when summer arrives, your pool is ready. From new finishes and tile to decking, lighting, and full transformations, every upgrade is handled with precision and attention to detail. Purple Heart Pools. Pool renovations done right.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
And then we sleep through day, then we play all through the late night. Sleep through day, then we play all through the late night.
Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Rick Ballou, RJ Saunders with you for another hour, fired up on this Thursday night. 1 week from tonight, the NFL draft. I know there's a little bit of lack of excitement here in Jacksonville, but again, consider where you're at. Listen to what Jordan Schultz said in the very first hour about how he believes it should be as a Jaguar fan. Okay, really good question just rolled in on YouTube. You can watch us. Go to 1010XL into the night. CRS092 says, hey, Rick, when you say players are undersized, do you think about how they are still very young? Can and will they get bigger and stronger? Or are you saying they're undersized even after all of that? If I was talking about a 4, 5, 6-year veteran who's undersized, and that's basically what you're going to get. But when you're talking about a young prospect like this, and my conversation has always been about the guy that I would like to see Jacksonville get at number 56, and that is an undersized defensive tackle in Grayson Halton, okay? He's 6'3", 293. Now, I'm not anywhere near an expert in this. Some may say I'm not an expert in anything, and that's fine. But you have to look at the body sculpture, right? You have to look at the body type. I mean, in my opinion, when I saw Travis Hunter a year ago, the first time, I saw him in his press conference. I saw him with clothes on, okay? And then all of a sudden, the first time that didn't sound right, did it, when I said with clothes on? I mean, I'm talking about everyday clothes on. Okay, when I saw him the first time in shorts, right? When they were out there in shorts and shirts during rookie minicamp, I was blown away at how tiny his legs were. And again, I asked him, and you could just tell how great of a player he was going to be, a coach's player, a guy who would do anything, because I asked him the very first time after his first practice at the Miller Electric Center, what is your ideal weight and what weight do you expect to play at this year? And he looked right at me and he said, my weight is whatever Coach Cohen wants it to be. And I was like, man, this kid's pretty impressive. I mean, what an outstanding answer. But, he looks like Dante Smith. You look at his legs, you're like, oh, my God, that's bad. And in my opinion, I think he could add a lot of muscle to his lower body, add weight. Now, you don't want to lose speed. I'm aware of that. But, I mean, they were very good in strength and conditioning this past year. They made a change. And, okay, there were a couple of injuries that, particularly hurt early, including Caleb Ransa. You can't prevent that. It happens all across the NFL. So when I look at Travis Hunter, there's a guy to me right there that could add some really good weight. Okay? Grayson Halton, I have no idea what his body type is. Haven't seen him. It'd be outstanding to say, all right, he's 6'3", 293. You can get him to 6'3", 305, 310. Oh, yeah. That could happen, but you don't want it to be bad body weight. You don't want it to be fat. As far as strength, talked about that now going into year 3 with Mason Smith. He was getting blown off the ball. To me, the recipe is pretty simple for Mason Smith. Get in the weight room. Get stronger. Because you're going into year 3. And if the light goes on, and the best support of Mason Smith and the best blueprint for Mason Smith would simply be, look at the guys who improved drastically a year ago. From Cole Van Lannon to Parker Washington to Antonio Johnson to Devin. I mean, guys got better. Jarian Jones, they sat him down. They put him back in the nickel. Mason Smith, there's an opportunity he could get better. He's got to get stronger. He's got to take care of his body. He's got to eat right. He's got to take this thing seriously, because if it does go on for him, his second contract could be, life-setting. He could be done. He could sign a huge contract if he's productive this year and next year and set for the rest of his life. He could also be out of the league. Those are the facts. Look at Luke Bowanko. Look how many times we talked about Bowanko and getting blown off the ball. Luke Bowanko, right? It was Bowanko, not Bowanko. Bowanko. He got blown off the ball. He didn't get any stronger. So I think everyone's different when it comes to that. But that's a really good question. You see Ohtani at all last night? I know you're an LA guy. Did you stay up and watch it?
A little bit of it. Sat down 10. He and Francisco Lindor had a little back and forth there where, that was like an 11 pitch back and forth between he and Francisco there. So the Mets kind of in a bad spot right now. Right?
Mets are struggling, but I didn't know this until I watched the game. But it's the first time in his career he only pitched.
Yeah.
He didn't hit.
Yeah, he didn't hit.
He didn't hit. And the Dodgers are 14-4. They're so good that they said, let's give him half his work off. Let's have him go out there and pitch. But we're going to take the bat away from him tonight. And, I don't believe that would be something that Dave Roberts is going to do once you get to playoff baseball. But once again, Ohtani finally gave up a run, gave up a home run. So he's allowed now 1 run in, let me see here, officially, because it's so much fun to watch this guy go out and perform. They usually give me the pitching. I only got hitting here. I think he had gone 28 2/3 innings before his start last night. That's what I want to say. So he gave you 6 more innings last night of pitching, allowed 1 run. So he's allowed 1 run. I have it unofficially in 33 2/3 innings. I'll double check that during the break, but this is pretty scary with what's going on right now with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, this is a team, and I'm going to ask Rafael Esparza about that later this hour. Okay, this team could win 114, 115 baseball games. I mean, almost unlike anything we've ever seen. We're talking about the Patriots going undefeated before losing to the New York Giants. What's the 1 year with Jordan? Didn't he win 70?
72.
72
and 10.
Wow.
96.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado got off to that type of start this year in the National Hockey League. It was absolute. They still got the President's Cup, but, I mean, it was just scary what the Avalanche did early on in the season. Let me double-check that. The Hurricanes would 113. Yeah, the Avalanche, 54-16 with 11 overtime losses, which equals a point. 119 overall points, but that was pretty cool to see last night with Ohtani. All right, now here comes the problem. And this is what is so good about pro football compared to Major League Baseball. And, you know, I say this just to give you the facts, just to give you the information. I've never had a problem with certain rosters, certain teams spending monopoly money to try to buy winners, and then other organizations who scream that they can't afford to do anything. If you can't afford to do anything, you should sell your organization. You should sell your franchise instead of bean counting. So anyway, Dodgers, their payroll a year ago, and this includes the luxury tax, $515 million. Okay? The threshold with the luxury tax, $244 million. That's where they were. The Miami Marlins, their payroll a year ago, which obviously did not include a luxury tax, $68.7 million. All right? How can you expect the Marlins at $68.7 million to beat the Dodgers at $515 million? You can't. So what do? Well, this is why they're going to war. This is why we're not going to have a baseball season next year. And what the Dodgers are also doing is deferring millions and millions and millions. We have Bobby Bonilla Day every year in Major League Baseball where he gets a check. I don't remember what it is. Is it 1.9 million or 1.75 million? Can you imagine that just once a year? Who knows what Bobby Bonilla is doing? I haven't heard that name mentioned in 15 years outside of the fact that he had deferred payments and he knows he's going to get that as his pension it's not even his pension. It's a deferred payment. The Dodgers are going to do that. So they want to fight that part of it. But they also want to salary cap this. And, you know, I like blue bloods. I like dynasties. I like those who are willing to spend. This goes back to even the evil empire of the late George Steinbrenner. I'm one of those, and I get it. Jacksonville's small market, okay? But Shad Khan's not a small market owner. You know what Shad Khan is? Liquid. You could thank Urban Meyer for one thing and one thing only. He asked. He wanted it all. He's the reason he started getting the Miller Electric Center built. You know, it's the only good thing that Urban Meyer did. See, my understanding from very well-placed sources, not Diana Rossini, okay, was that the Caldwell-Marone regime, they were just lucky to be there. You know, they felt like, I got another year, I'm not going to get... They didn't ask for anything. Been told from a sensational source, and this was years ago, okay? Shad Khan never says no to a football decision. If you go up to Shad Khan and say, we need $77 million guaranteed for Trayvon Walker, he's going to sign a check. Parker Washington, I believe, is next. Some think it's Brenton Strange. Others think it's Anton Harrison, right? Maybe Antonio Johnson. I think it's Parker. I think he's the next one up. Spot Track has him at 14 mil. I think he's going to earn 16 and a half, 17, 18 mil. And good for him. Former 6th-round pick. But I don't feel bad for the Marlins and the Pirates and these small market teams that can't find. Sell your organization. Sell it to someone who has ridiculous amounts of money. Marlins have won 2 World Series. You can't say that about Cleveland, right? I watched the Marlins win 2 World Series when Boston had gone 86 years without winning a World Series. The Cubs had gone even longer without winning a World Series. Look at the amount of money that Chicago and Boston have spent forever and ever and ever, right? Pittsburgh, all right, they haven't won it since 79, but they still tasted victory. And they got brilliant young players, dominant young players. You got to get them all locked up. And it's not just Skeens. It's really that entire rotation with Chandler and who went yesterday? It was Ashcroft who went yesterday. They got some other young guns as well. Onel Cruz, not a good defensive player, but certainly he's been lighting up the baseball offensively. So we'll see what happens here. But you don't have to worry about that in football. And even if they were to up it, and they do. They upped it by what? 20-some-odd million this year. You've got an owner that's going to pay. And that's good to know. It really is. That's going to be very comforting. Now, you want them to make the right decisions. You got to trust Gladstone and Baselli that they're making the right moves. Okay? That's another part of the equation. But it's not one of those deals where they can't afford to go out and get a guy. Look, some of these contracts, some of these teams are way underneath this salary cap. It's like, what are you waiting for? All right. Just wanted to give you that. As I say that, you see today that the NFL has had advanced talks on now 5 games on YouTube. I mean, one of my biggest complaints, and I think a lot of you out there, actually, let's save that because I'm overdue. I'm going to come back because I think I have something that you'll agree with whenever you go into a sports bar or a bar in general. That's coming up on the other side.
About time you guys got here. That pretty lady in there is causing all kinds of hell.
Wherever there's a tailgate,
you can't win!
that's where you'll find Lauren Brooks.
Will you marry me?
Nope.
Afternoons 2 to 4
This is a riot.
on 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
I insist on complete honesty.
You can chime in anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
If you have something to say to me, I wish you would just say it.
Share your opinion.
Are you nuts?
What? 641-1010.
That's crazy.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats. Looks like the company owes, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is a job for Sponsored Jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Welcome to indoor football. Welcome to the Jacksonville Sharks. Discover the thrill of the indoor league. Fast-paced, action-packed, and it's family fun. Be there when your Sharks take on the Orlando Pirates Friday, April 17th at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Kickoff, 7 o'clock. Halftime performance by the world-famous Disconnected Canines. Ask about our family four-packs. 4 tickets and $50 in food vouchers, all for only $100. There's no better value. Get your tickets now at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. It's Country Night presented by Roland Reese Plumbing. Dust off your boots, throw on your camo, get ready for a night full of football fun and great music. Join us on the field after the game for our free autograph session, sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. Tickets start at $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made. Go Sharks! Fins up.
Your tax refund has plans. A vacation? A flat screen TV? Well, your plumbing has other ideas. If you've been putting off a major repair, this is your chance to get the work done and save money. With the tax refund plumbing upgrade from Duck Duck Rooter, get $500 off any major plumbing repair over $5,000. That's real savings. Duck Duck Rooter delivers honest, upfront pricing and experienced pros who do it right. Call to schedule a free estimate. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. Financing is available.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, I won't bore you with this. I'll just give you a couple of minutes. But advanced talks now with the NFL. 5 games going to YouTube. Again, we talked about that research company that came out a few weeks ago and said that when this deal ends, it could be as high as a 58% increase overall. I mean, more than $1 billion per corporation, right? Others are saying it's going to be around 25%. And they have an out where they can, I want to say it goes through 2029. They have an out where they can get out of it, I believe, at the end of 2027. So anyway, that's that. And but here's the part that's so nuts. I mean, yeah, I talked about being in Phoenix my last vacation. Arizona was the #1 ranked college basketball team in America at that time. And you know, it was touristy, but there was still plenty of locals around. They didn't have the game on TV. It was #1 Arizona. And how many times have you seen when you walk into a place, you got moron managers and you've got absolutely people who have no clue that a major sporting event is going on. Now, listen, if you go in there and say, hey, can you put on the Winnipeg Jets against the Nashville Predators? Okay, I can understand where that's some hesitation. But if it's the premier golfing event of that weekend, if it's your team in your city, college or pro, you would think that they would be smart enough to have that stuff on. And tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not. You see it all the time. Well, RJ, can you imagine what it's going to be like now when you go in? And typically they would try to say, do you know what channel that's on? I'd be like, yeah, it's on CBS. Now it's like you hope that these bars have YouTube, Paramount, Prime, Hulu, Netflix. Okay. I mean, there's going to be 8, or not to mention Fox, CBS, ABC, ESPN, and NBC. You're going to have like 9 or 10 different corporations where the Jaguars could actually be on each and every one of them.
Absolutely. And then you have to wonder, do these places like these bars, maybe not, do they go a route of saying like, listen, we got to pay just a little bit extra, for us to be able to put on
and it's a
this
lot
game
extra
here.
in bars.
Right.
It's a
so,
lot
like,
extra.
if that goes on. So not only are you thinking about places where you have to pay subscriptions, like we talked about, Paramount and Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and other places like that, but now you also have to think about, if you go to a bar and you go to your normal place, they may say, hey, listen, in order for us to show this game as you're requesting, because it's on a special channel, or we had to pay the subscription service for you to be able to watch it, it's going to be a little bit extra on the tab.
Yeah, and it's such greed, because I don't know this, but this is my impression. Okay, let's say the Jaguars only have one game on Paramount, and they only have one game on Netflix. All right, you have Netflix, fine, you can see the game. All of a sudden, it's week 13, and the game is on Paramount, and you make a call and say, can we get Paramount for this Jaguars game?
Right.
Typically, the way things work is you can't just get it for a game. You have to buy the entire package, which means every NFL game, every week, even though your team is only on once, when you're paying this amount of money, Netflix, Paramount, you're not all of a sudden going to say, some sports bar wants it, let's get. Hell no, you're going to have to charge as much as you can because of the amount of money that you're paying the NFL owners.
And then I'm also going to have to wonder, how many of the games are also going to be blacked out as well? If it's on a CBS affiliate, or if it's only supposed to be, streamed locally on YouTube, and you're saying, well, the game was also said that it was going to be on CBS, and they now black that game out. And if you don't have one of these subscription services or don't know where to go in order to be able to watch these games, you're missing, precious Jaguars games when you just said, listen, I could, sit in front of a TV and, just be able to watch for 16, 17 weeks.
This is, it was one thing when we lost boxing. Those who are old enough to remember, Wide World of Sports and Saturday afternoon on ABC, with Howard Cosell or whoever it was, and you would get those great big ticket heavyweight fights, and then they started promoting it with Don King and some other stuff, and all of a sudden it became pay-per-view. All right, that was rough, but you get a bunch of cronies together, a bunch of knuckleheads together, you pony up the cat, and then all of a sudden you can get the fight. But they would charge sports bars an outrageous amount of money. They're going to be doing the same thing now in the NFL. And, again, I support being able to earn what you can earn. That is well within your right. But on the same token, man, I would think that these owners would want their fans totally invested. It's expensive to go to games. It should not be expensive to watch these teams play if you can't go to the game or when they're on the road. It shouldn't. And it is. It is. And, that's the bottom line. It's going to cost. And I hate it. I hate it for the NFL fans. I hate it for the NFL consumers. Some people just don't care. They save up all year for it. That's fine. But, listen, it's rough out there for a lot of people. While we're on this subject, let's head to a break. But you see now the NCAA has stepped up, and they are completely talking about every team having a game in week 0. The NCAA is smart enough to understand we're going to a 16-team playoff. We could be at a 24-team playoff or a 32-team playoff before you know it. My guess is by 2028, we absolutely have 18 games in the NFL. And by 2028, I'm saying at a minimum, 24 playoff games or 24 playoff teams at a minimum, with an opportunity for that to rise. It's kind of buried. We just wrapped up March Madness. You see where they're going to 76 teams next year? At least that's the talk.
That's the talk now?
The days of 64 went to 68.
Right.
Now they're talking about 76 teams.
What other teams are you trying to get in?
Florida State's got an opportunity if you have 76 teams.
Right. That is crazy.
But, and you know what? College basketball set aside, I don't know how I feel about that. I have no problem with 18 in the NFL. It's better for NFL fans. As I say all the time, it's going to give you 2 more weeks. You're going to have an extra bye and an extra game. It's going to give you 2 more weeks, half a month of another regular season in the NFL. College football, the more the better. I mean, the bowl system is broken, man. The bowl system is meaningless. It might as well be an exhibition game. It might as well be your spring game because these kids opt out if they're draft worthy or if they want to they got to change the transfer dates too. They got to change that window with the transfer portal if you're trying to protect the bowls. But it's not happening. The 24 teams who play in the college football playoff, those kids are going to play until they lose. But they're not going to play in the bowls. So anyway, some scary stuff going on. All right, let's bring in our buddy Rafael Esparza. He joins us on the other side.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Baloo here for Spunez Vision. Why Spunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Spunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Spunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Spunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SpunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on game day. Sometimes it's rolling your ankle, weekend yard work, or just playing catch with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries in hand. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Indoor golf in Ponte Vedra is here. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Play the best courses in the world at Back 9 Golf. Top simulators, analytics to improve your game, or just have a blast with friends or a client. Get this, you can bring your own beverages, including cocktails. Go to back9golf.com, book a tee time today. Membership opportunities, lessons, Back 9 Golf in Ponte Vedra, next to Nice High School. Back 9 Golf, where golf never sleeps.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Fight Night is here. Join Dan and I at UNF Arena for Guns N' Hoses, Saturday, April 18th. You want to be a part of the pugilistic festivities? Go to GNHJacks.com and get your tickets now. It's Guns N' Hoses, Saturday, April 18th.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Pick it here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools has been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Well, I'm going to go, we talked about a little bit earlier, what we're seeing right now with Ohtani is simply spectacular. And again, he was magical last night. Finally allowed his first run, but he should be 3-0. The bullpen blew his second start. He has been unhittable. And if he got start after start, I'll be interested to see how many he gets this year. I don't know if he'll get the 30, 31, 32 or so, but you're talking about a guy who can make a run at the Cy Young. Obviously, he's all about the MVP on the other side of the plate, and that or on the dish. But last night was really rare because it was the first time that he did not hit in his career in Los Angeles. So that in itself was interesting.
Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Rafael Esparza, we talk with him each and every Thursday. Young man, how are you?
I am doing well. I love the Ohtani talk, and I think we're going to see him when he pitches, maybe not bad, because I think they want him to get that longevity of maybe pitching. It would not shock me if he told the front office he wants Cy Young and MVP.
What's the highest that you've seen the win total for LA?
Oh man, it's been it wouldn't shock me for adjusted prices. We might see 106 around there. Their just lineup is just unbelievable. I mean, we're talking about what they're 14-4, and Mookie Betts is not even in the lineup.
I know it's crazy what they were doing. And Freeman struggled like the first week at some change. He's bounced back. He's played well as of late. All right, tell us about the books now with Rory blowing a 6-shot lead and everything that happened with Young with the lead, then Justin Rose with the lead, then going back to Rory and everything else that happened. What was the book like on Sunday?
It was much popular than I thought. Because don't forget, Rory had a big lead, and I was telling people on Saturday, if he continues to grow that lead, Sunday's handle is going to be nothing. But he struggled all day Saturday. He looked like I was playing out there on the course what he was doing on Saturday. So we got surprisingly good handle on Sunday just because we had 5-6 guys that were in the hunt.
With the NBA and the NHL playoffs getting underway this weekend, what is typically the way about it? Is it the overall winner, the Stanley Cup winner, the NBA championship winner? Is it series by series? How is that working right now?
Right now in the NHL series prices, a lot of dog money coming in. People betting Utah to beat Vegas. Let's face it, the Golden Knights home ice has not done anything this year. A lot of people betting Ottawa to beat Carolina. It's going to be very interesting. Maybe Buffalo can maybe bring a championship, and it's going to be in NHL, not in football. A lot of saver money coming in. No disrespect to your Boston Bruins.
Yeah, they're big favorites. I mean, there's no question they've had an incredible year. First time in the playoffs since 2011. Only the Jets with a longer snub in 2010. But, hockey, the way I always have looked at football is, for the most part, in my opinion, Raphael, the best team wins. And when you get to the playoffs in baseball, typically the best team wins. Same with the NBA. Hockey's a weird situation where you can get a hot goaltender, you can get a lucky bounce of the puck and a fourth-line guy that picks the corner of the net. I'd always be a little bit more risky if I was a big-time gambler when it comes to hockey.
You nailed it with your first sentence. If you have a hot goalie, you can win the Stanley Cup. And I disagree with you in football because don't forget some team in New York beat Tom Brady, and they weren't the best team in the NFL that year.
No, there's no doubt, undefeated. But Eli Manning was in the grasp. They didn't call it. That should have been a sack. And people were saying, well, what about the tuck rule, 15 years prior to that? Yeah, who knows? All right, any truth that Diana Rossini, Britt McHenry, on Trump's lawn coming up in June?
I have no idea. That whole thing is crazy. I do believe the PI thing because I have a good buddy of mine in your neck of the woods that is a PI, and it would not shock me if that's how she got busted.
Yeah, okay, I agree, but from what direction? Is it a rival of the Patriots? Because it's going to have no effect on Vrabel. It had a tremendous effect on her. What's your best guess on where it came from?
Husband. That's why I'm 110%. It would not shock me if the husband hired the PI.
Wow. Okay. I never even gave that any consideration. I always thought it was about a football move. Interesting. Okay.
Nope, husband.
Yeah. Tell us about the website and your show.
Well, the website is all about what we didn't talk about this weekend is WrestleMania. That's what this weekend. I have over 57 different ways to bet WrestleMania. That article will be on the site this evening. I'm actually prepping it up right now. And then after that, it's all about the NFL draft. I'll be working on a lot more NFL draft. Crazy prop bets coming out of the draft in Pittsburgh. So that's what I'll be doing. Then, of course, the show Monday through Friday. Coaching company at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Coach involved with the wrestling?
Oh, yeah, just a little bit. Just a little. He's nuts over it right now. And it's funny. We started doing all this, and he didn't want to do wrestling stuff, and he pretty much got looped into it, and now it just blew up in his face again.
Yeah, and that's the way that business is. I mean, it's kind of a male soap opera for me. There were years where I was so fired up for WrestleMania. I am so out of tune with what's going on. What's the premier match?
Roman Reigns and CM Punk. This is how crazy it is. When Pat McAfee is retweeting some of your stuff and talking about your odds, WrestleMania is pretty hot right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Raphael, always a lot of fun. Thank you.
Take it easy. Have a great weekend.
There he goes. Never really considered the husband with the PI move. I thought it was a... And the reason why I didn't think it was the husband is because he allegedly peddled these around to TMC, to several different companies about purchasing the photos. If it was the husband, and your move would be to, number one, figure things out, but he could have hired the PI, just shown them to her and say, listen, that's it. This is done. I want a divorce. I'm giving this to my what? The individual reportedly sold them to the New York Post and offered them to many others. I don't see the husband making that move first.
Well, some people wanted to think that it was the wife of Mike Vrabel that thought that, hey, maybe something's going on here. I just want to be able to make sure. Everything's on the up and up. So, there were people who were saying that it was coming from that angle. I didn't know as to whether or not it would be the husband, especially when it, came to Diana Rossini going on, I guess that was Stu Gatch's radio show saying that, listen, hey, my mother is of the suspicion that, maybe my husband is fooling around with somebody at the office. And, she said, you're trying to keep me on my toes. Yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, if it was the husband, if the husband has been an individual who has heard what she has said on radio and has said, you know what, I just kind of want to look just a little bit more into this. I wouldn't be surprised from that angle, but I just thought that maybe this was the wife of Mike Vrabel before I even thought about the husband.
See, I thought those comments that she made about marriage, I thought it was all hyperbole. I really did. I thought it was sarcasm. And, yeah, I could be dead wrong when it's all said and done. 77-76, this says, Blue, how much of a degenerate do you have to be to bet on WrestleMania? You'd be surprised the amount of people that bet on wrestling. Okay? But I'm with you there because you don't know what's going on. Tell you another thing that people bet on that just I cannot see, and that's preseason NFL games. I mean, you really got to have more than an itch if you're doing that. Listen, I love gaming. I love it. I follow it. At times, privately, I'm like, well, this is what I do. Bottom line is that I'm not doing it right now because I don't have that itch. Okay. But I know I'm going to get it again at some point. Again, I kind of see myself in a few years, RJ, alone. And Irish whiskey, cigars, some baseball cards, and I'm going to become, once again, an aggressive gambler. And when I gamble, as I said, the only reason why I quit, I actually did okay. But I was in Chicago, all right, and I'd have $100 on Kansas City, Cleveland. And I'd have one of my daughters tugging at my leg, saying, Daddy, I need this. And I, come down and pick them up and this. I look up and see what I thought was a first down, and I'm all excited about it. All of a sudden, you put them back down, you look up, and you see a ref there with a holding sign. And you know what it would do? $100 would piss me off. So how good of a dad am I if I'm upset, my daughters need my attention, and that's when I got away from it, okay? And that was over tiny money,
right.
$100.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having major dollars on something? I mean, you need to be alone in a room by yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I got buddies that'll throw a couple hundred, go out and eat dinner with their family, maybe check their phone once or twice. Win or lose, they're fine with it.
Not even think about it.
And you know what? That's the perfect way to go about it. They can afford it. It doesn't make a difference either way. And it's not going to affect their overall, personality, affect their attitude. In my case, it would make me a grump. So that's why I gave it up. Now the girls are out of the house. Could it be a part of the future?
It's the ultimate ride.
He's gonna do it!
Sunday at Kansas.
Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas!
NASCAR is revved up by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's high-performance NASCAR station, 1010 XL.
Spring is here. Time to get your lawn ready before summer heat and bugs set in. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They offer preventative chinch bug treatments, pre-emergent weed control, and granular fertilization, all with no contracts. This helps prevent problems before damage occurs, keeping lawns thicker, greener, and stronger. Call today to schedule your spring treatment. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
It's Gator passion on display when Patrick Young brings power forward intensity to the drill.
Patrick Young, a rip and a run.
Fast breaks and clutch shots with Dan and Jeff. Friday mornings at 8:30, tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and Kuhn Flowers.
What if every day felt like a private resort in your backyard? Premier Outdoor Inc., Jacksonville's #1 pool builder in the 2025 Best of Bold City Awards, creates entire outdoor living spaces, not just pools, custom pools, heated spas, summer kitchens, cabanas, fireplaces, screen enclosures, and more. Veteran and first responder owned, turn your backyard into an unforgettable retreat. See what you could build at PremierOutdoorInc.net. Premier Outdoor Inc., a visionary of hardscapes and aquatics.
April showers bring flowers. They also bring septic problems. And that's not the kind of spring surprise you want in your yard. Or worse, in your shower. Before a small issue turns into a big, messy situation, call Duck Duck Rooter. During April showers, Septic Powers promotion. Schedule a septic tank pump out at regular price, and Duck Duck Rooter will include a main sewer line camera inspection for an additional $99. See what's going on underground before you smell it. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Don't wait around like you're the last pick of the draft. When your car needs an oil change, go where you're a first-round priority. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Just drive in, stay in your car, and in 15 minutes, you're back on the road. That's a first-round performance. With convenient Jacksonville locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and named #1 Quick Lube for customer service by Forbes, Valvoline delivers every time. Visit the newest Valvoline Instant Oil Change at Beach Boulevard and St. John's Bluff.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
To 7776 just said, is it Oba Fame? I don't even know this guy against Brock Lesnar is the biggest non-title match. You and I went to some wrestling.
Yeah, saw AEW a couple years ago. Yeah,
I used to go to them all. I don't think the WWF comes here anymore. Probably a Tony Khan deal.
No, I think they do.
Oh, do they?
I think they do. I think they do. You know, just a couple like house shows. I don't think it's like on TV or anything like that. But I think they swing through.
You used to go to them all. I'm just not into it right now. And he says that's the biggest non-title match. That's Godzilla versus King Kong. All right, can you play the under as far as the length of the match? Because Lesnar's like Goldberg. Unless they spend 5 minutes laying on the ground, getting guys in the figure four or whatever, this match is going to go less than 2 minutes because of Goldberg's lack of conditioning. What do you have over there, by the way?
Oh, yes. It is a special time, depending on how you want to phrase it, in the NBA and the Orlando Magic. They have a chance of going to the NBA playoffs. They'll have to punch their ticket on tomorrow as they have a home game against the Charlotte Hornets. And we have 2 tickets for you to go to that game. It is at 7:30 p.m. Make sure you are able to go. Here's the question. Name me a player that played for both the Orlando Magic and the Charlotte Hornets. Correct answer, and the tickets are yours.
One more time. Question one more time.
Question one more time. Name me a player that played for both the Orlando Magic and the Charlotte Hornets.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
We won't spoil it because we want our listener to call in at 641-1010 and give the answer. But I have a feeling you know who it is. Just don't say it.
I'm thinking about it. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
RJ's on top of his game.
Yeah, no, that's good.
You got your coach's shirt on.
Yeah, Mud Dogs had a game tonight. Wasn't going our way.
What a great name.
It is a great name, right? They went with the Bobby Boucher Mud Dogs. Wasn't going our way when I left, but hopefully they can rally in the final innings.
Yeah. All right.
So I'll tell you what was great, though, is it's all about playoff positioning. We got a message in the app that we need to have our guys ready, our 6-year-olds that like to play zombie tag, right, before the game. But because it's all about seeding in the playoffs, and we have to be prepared to be the 2 or the 3 seed. So it's been good times over there right now.
Hey, very interesting question here from the 1429. You think Mike Vrabel loses the respect of some of his coaches and players after what happened? You know what? I think he gets a lot of street cred privately off the record. I think there are some very happily married coaches and players that are disgusted by it. But I would love to know honesty and the percentage of how many people are actually like, way to go, coach.
Yeah. What did you make of him not attending the pre-draft press conference up in New England?
Guilty.
He just didn't want to deal with it, right? I mean, they can say whatever they want, but that's the reasoning. I didn't like that. Mike Vrabel comes off as a tough guy, right? And I like Mike Vrabel. At some point, you got to face the music, man. I mean, you might as well get it out of the way sooner rather than later. You're just postponing the inevitable right now. And to not have availability of your head coach at your pre-draft, media luncheon because of this issue hanging over his head, I honestly thought was a little weak by the Patriots and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, and not a scratch is going to end up happening to Mike Vrabel. We do know that. We saw it happen with Diana Rossini, and the young lady today who called out Diana Rossini ended up losing her gig as well with the USA Today. All right, so what do you have coming up tonight?
Yeah, 1 week away from the draft. Kind of hard to believe. We're going to go down memory lane to last year and kind of evaluate how James Gladstone did year number 1 with the rookie class last year. Now, you got to take into account injuries, undrafted guys like B.J. Green and Danny Strigow.
Yeah.
But just kind of talk about the rookies from last year and how Gladstone did, and if we can learn anything from what he did a year ago as to what he may do next week. A little NBA playoff talk as well, and a little college football. We got a lot for you till 10 o'clock tonight.
It's going to be fun to see guys who really couldn't do anything a year ago, what they do with the incumbents. Does Wyatt Milam knock someone off that offensive line? Does Caleb Ransaw say, all right, 2 safeties return, but here I come. How many more carries for Tootin? How many more carries for Allen? That's what. And obviously Travis Hunter only gave you 7 games. It ended up being a pretty good draft class.
I mean, think about it. Hunter, Ransaw, Jalen McLeod, and Kaiser all were on season-ending IR.
Yeah.
Milam missed like the first 12 games. We saw him sparingly at the end. There is a lot of unknown about last year's rookie class.
Have a fun show.
Thanks, Rick.
It's going to do it for us. Thank you to Jordan Schultz for joining us, NFL Insider, Rafael Esparza. I'm already excited about tomorrow night's show. We got a lot of good things planned on Friday. Draft analysts coming up tomorrow night on the Jaguars. Get you headed for the weekend as an NHL massive fan. I don't know how much I'll talk about it, but I'll be watching over the weekend. The NBA as well, of course, more playing games, and then both the NBA and the NHL start their playoffs on Saturday. The NFL draft 1 week away. That is pretty cool, in my opinion. That'll do it for, for R.J. Saunders. I am Rick Bullier. We'll talk tomorrow at 6.